All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. I want to welcome you to today's Tech Talk. And my name is Dr. Johnson, and I'm the CEO of Glomax IT Solutions and Services. So I want to welcome you into this session today. And on Monday, I actually start by telling us some of the emerging topics or some of the emerging areas in analytics related domain. So today I want to move further from there and just give us an idea of the difference between the role of a data analyst and a data scientist. So we are going to be looking at the difference between the role of a data analyst and that of a data scientist. I want you to just share that this live Facebook live video and invite your friends that might need to watch it to join us as well. So the difference between a data analyst and that of a data scientist. The difference between data analyst and that of a data scientist. So what is the difference between the two, and what is the right one for you? Which one is the right fit for you? I've received so many people that have asked that question. So many people that are trying to get into the analytics field, they want to know, is there a difference between data analyst role and data scientist role? So let me first, before I go into that, let me remind you that we have our data analyst and data scientist training that will be starting on January 30th, Saturday, January 20th, 30th. It's a weekend class, it's a Saturday class, and you just need 4 hours on Saturday to equip yourself. So if you are looking at preparing yourself for the future of work, preparing yourself for a role in data related discipline, then this is a good starting point for you. So on January 30th, we are going to start the data analytics and data science training. And so you can register now. We have the early bird registration going on already. So I need to end on Monday night. So please make sure you register early so that you can get discount on registration. You get about $200 discount on registration. So today the question is, what is the difference between data analyst and data scientist? What is the difference between data analyst and data scientist, and which one is the right fit for you if you are considering a role in analytics related role? So let me say this, that if you are somebody that has an analytical mindset, because that's one of the soft skills that is required to work in the field. If you are somebody that just like to investigate, you are somebody that like to gain more understanding of what is going on, what is happening. So that's the work that data analysts they do. So if you are somebody that love decoding or telling story about what is going on with data, then you might want to consider a career or a data in data analysis this year. So you need to actually know the technique that is required for you to be able to then work in that role. So data analysts and data scientists are the two people that work primarily to get knowledge, to get insight to businesses from data. Okay, there are some other titles that are being used, and I'm going to talk about them later. But the primary people that are charged with getting information and insight to businesses from data. They are called analysts and scientists. So they are the two primary jobs, and this is one area that we are seeing an increase in the number of job opportunity today. It's an area that is actually booming, and the driving key is because we have so much data that businesses are collecting, that businesses are gathering, and that businesses are actually also using to make decisions. So if you are somebody that is passionate about data, then you can start by looking at some of these roles. So my job today is to just highlight for you what is the differences between the two roles in terms of what do they do, what is required to work in there, and how do you start? What do you start with? So let's start with the role of a data analyst. The role of a data analyst. So a data analyst, actually, their job is to get some insight from data. Okay, their job is to get some insight from data by identifying some trends, and also they also tell stories using the data. So they look at the numbers that they see and then try to tell a story around it. So they help business to make decisions, and they help business to make those decisions based on the insight that they get from the data. So now they might be asking questions like, why is the sales dropped in this quarter? So sometimes many organizations, they generate report every quarter. So maybe quarter one is January, quarter two is April, quarter three is July, and quarter four is October. So they generate quarterly report or monthly report. So in that report, they want to look at some basic key performance index, KPIs of the business, and try to get some insight on how the business is doing. So how is our sales process going for this month? Do we get more revenue? Do we get more customer? Is a particular product selling more and this particular product not selling? Which product is performing the best in different regions? These are different information and insights that help businesses to decide on the various things that they need to decide on, whether where to concentrate their effort, or maybe where to do more marketing, or where to get more sales. So these are insights that are data driven. These are insights that businesses need from data. So the job of an analyst is to help businesses to get those insights. So an analyst would take raw data and get insight from that data, so that executives can actually make decisions around it. Now, the thing is that every organization has standard reports that they generate. So one of the first work of an analyst is to actually create those reports. And there are two kinds of report that they normally create. There is what is called the standard report, which is like monthly report, or weekly report, or quarterly report, or annual report. So they want to know the different KPIs, the different indices that they measure the performance of the business. How is the business performing? So the job of an analyst is to generate that report for the business. The job of an analyst is to generate that report. Now, in order to tell a good story about the data, a data analyst use tools, visualization tools, so they can create visualization. So maybe slides, and then they create charts, they create graphs, they create dashboards. So all of those things are for them to be able to tell story with the data, so that organization can see it, because they said a picture speak louder than 1,000 words. So when you have that dashboard and visualization, then organizations or executives, they can see the trend, or they can see what is going on in the business. So that's the job that a data analyst work on. So, but if you look at it, there are so many titles that many organizations actually use to describe the role of so-called data analyst in the organization. It depends on the job function that is assigned to the person. So you can see some other titles that are not necessarily called data analyst, but it will have that probably word analyst or intelligent analyst. So things like database analyst. So that means that person is focusing on generating report about database or getting insight about database performance. So there are other people that are business insight analysts. So for such people, they are looking at the business, different aspects of the business, the KPIs, and getting insight for executives. Then you can have something like market research analyst. Market research analyst. So those ones, they might be working more on the marketing aspects, the marketing department of the organization, to be able to know maybe which area is our product selling more, which region is our project selling more, which product is performing in a particular region. So anything that has to do with marketing and sales, then it is the job of those who are hired as marketing insight analysts to do that. But the goal is that they are all using data to get insight for executives and organization. Then you can have things like market research analysts, you can have sales analysts. So if you look at all of these titles, the only difference in them is just that many of them are focused on a specific aspect of the business. So like sales analyst, so the focus of that person's role is on sales, but the skill and the tool that they require are almost going to be the same, but the focus of the domain where the person is focusing on is different. So it might be different domain, or it might be also vertical, which means that it's the same company but different departments within the company. So you might be working with marketing, somebody else is working with sales, somebody else is working with another department. Now you are all analysts, but your job, day-to-day job function is different, because the domain that you are working in is different. So we can also have maybe operational analysts. So for those ones, they are just dealing with the business operation itself, how to improve operational efficiency of the business, maybe in terms of supply and demand, in terms of delivery and things like that. So they are looking at data that comes in from those sources and using those information to be able to decide on how to advise executives. You can have pricing analyst. Okay, that one is going to be focused on what is the best price that we should give to our product. Maybe by the time they send out the price, they want to see how many people buy when the price was at a certain rate, and then they can then do analysis based on that to say, based on what we are seeing, I think the price, when we give a discount, this is what we get. So that is the job that people who have maybe the title pricing analyst will have. And there can be any other title or role that they give, but if you are an analyst, your job is to take raw data. That data can be in a database, it can be in a spreadsheet, it can be in some other forum. Your job is to take the raw data and analyze it. And when we say analyze it, what we mean is that sometimes you are just looking to get maybe some numbers out of the data. So it's not necessary that in all cases that you have to do some advanced coding. Sometimes when you are just getting reports, you might just not necessarily need to do some advanced coding. In fact, some work can be done, many of the work of an analyst can be done using spreadsheets, using Excel. If you have advanced knowledge in Excel, you can actually do some of the work. So some of the things that you do can be, maybe you are just retrieving value. For example, on Facebook, things like how many people view a video, how many people like a video, how many people share a video. Those are small statistics that are just counting the numbers. They are just counting the number. And you know what that means is that some of those information are valuable insight that helps in decision making. So the same thing in organization, they want to know maybe how many people buy, how many people did we send it to, and then which region is performing best. So those insight, those numbers, they are very important. So it might just be things like retrieving value, just getting numbers, or filtering. Maybe we want to then filter to say, okay, how many people from Ontario? How many people from Ontario? So we want to segment it by region. Or you want to do aggregation, or you want to do sorting. Or you want, so sorting means that I want to say maybe the top 10 people that are our that are buying from us. So that is sorting. I'm sorting it based on the number of sales that the person make. Okay, so, or you want to look at people within a certain range. Sometimes you have maybe age brackets. So you want to look at maybe teenagers. So maybe you are saying 13 to 18 in terms of age. You want to segment people based on a certain range. Or you want to say school adults or seniors. So these are different age ranges. So these are things that analysts, they look at when they look at data. They are looking at different ways to get insight out of the data for business executives. So if you are an analyst, those are the work that you will do. Then what about a data scientist? Well, the title data scientist actually is one of the newest titles that you will see. Okay, so that title started to take industry attraction in 2008. So that's just about 12 years ago. So even though data has existed for a long time and people have been doing analysis on data for a long time, the work of a data scientist now take a different level in 2008, and then the title data scientist started to come to the forefront. So what's the job? Now, most data scientists also do much of the work that data analysts do. They do a lot of the work that data analysts do. In fact, in many organizations, many people have the title data scientists, but the bulk of the work they do is actually the work of a data analyst. Many of them really do not build any machine learning model or create any model. They actually do much of reporting. They do much of insight and analysis at descriptive level. They don't do any prediction, they don't do any forecast, and they don't do any preventive analysis. So it means that in most organizations, even some of the hiring executives, they mix the role of a data analyst and that of a data scientist. They mix it together. So what I always advise people is, when you see a job that has the title analyst or scientist, data analyst or data scientist, now the roles sometimes can be mixed. So what you need to do is just check the job description. Just check the job description. If the job description is just for you to get insight from data, do descriptive analysis, then that's a data analyst role. But by the time they are asking you to know machine learning algorithms, by the time they are asking you that you will be doing prediction, forecasting, time series analysis, and so on, then that's a data scientist role. So a data scientist go beyond just looking at what has already happened and getting insight for executives. They are actually able to take information, historical information in the organization, and make forecast about what is going to happen. They can predict, they can make prediction, they can make forecast. And so that is one of the major difference between the work of a data analyst and a data scientist. But if you look at it, they are not necessarily out of order to each other. They are actually like an extension. They are like a build-on to the beginning work of a data analyst. So in most cases, data scientists are not also building machine learning model 24 hours of the day, or 7 days of the week, or 365 days of the year. Much of their work is still assigned work that is assigned to them is still a data analyst role. So if you are a data scientist, then you must know practically most of the things that data analysts also do, because in the business environment, that will also form a bulk of the work that you will have to do. So a data scientist understands algorithms, statistical algorithms, data mining algorithms, machine learning algorithms, to be able to make predictions and forecasts on behalf of the organization. So that's one of the essential things. So they can ask questions from the data and then develop algorithms and build statistical models from the data. So if you are looking at a data scientist, then you must understand machine learning algorithms. You must understand some new techniques that are emerging, such as deep learning as well. So, but in most cases, because the data scientist is a new role and it requires a lot of statistical and mathematical knowledge, so they sometimes require you to have some advanced degrees, such as a master's or PhD in analytical disciplines such as mathematics, physics, chemistry, anything that has some element of science and engineering is also applicable. So they want you to be able to have some advanced analytical thinking around the data. So that's the job of a data scientist. So it's more like an advanced level for a data analyst role. So what are the skill sets that you need if you are looking for any of the roles? So for mostly for data analyst role, number one thing that you need is analytical thinking, the ability to look at data and actually see maybe some key things that need to be highlighted there. The ability to look at what is the key things that the business is looking for in the data and be able to highlight that for the business. That is one thing that you will need to have. Then you must be able to do data extraction. That is the ability to bring in data from whatever source that it is put in, whether it's a database, whether it's online, whether it's in the spreadsheet, whatever source that it is. You must be able to do data extraction. Then you must be able to also do data exploration. That is just having some idea of some basic things that you can get from the data. For example, I mentioned some things like counting the values. So how many men, how many women, how many kids view our product, buy our product. All of those things are counting. Just like we are talking about Facebook, they also do things like counting how many people view a video, how many people like the video. So those are counting numbers. So you must be able to do some basic exploration on data to get some of those insights. Then you must also be able to do some analysis on the data, to get insight for executives. Now, one thing that is also very important in a data analyst role is domain knowledge. Domain knowledge, because they hire you specifically to get key insight for the business. So it means that you must have knowledge of the domain in which you are actually hired to work. So if you are hired to work as a sales analyst, then it means that you must know you must know how sales process work. You must have an understanding of sales, because that's what will help you to be able to know how to tell a story with data. So domain knowledge is very important. Then the other thing that is also important is your ability to tell stories. So that's why one of the major soft skills that you need is communication, because your dashboard, your slides and everything will be presented to executives. So you must be able to do storytelling. You must be able to communicate the insight and the result that you have to both technical people and non-technical people. So sometimes you make presentation to those who are technical, but many times you make presentation to people who have no technical knowledge, and so it's your job to be able to do that. Now, what about data scientists? So for data scientists, you still need all the things that I've highlighted for data analyst. But essentially for data scientists, you also need to be able to do algorithm thinking. You must be able to develop algorithms and be able to validate it and prove it to executives as well. So that is very important, apart from all the other skills like communications and so on. And you must also be hands-on on latest tools that are used in the field. So latest tools that are used in the field, and you must have some very good programming experience as well, because programming is how you use to process and to work on the data. So you must have some very good experience with programming. So now, which ones do you choose? Which ones do you choose? Data science or data analyst? So I would say, if you are just coming in into data world, if you are just coming in into an analytics world, the starting point is as a data analyst. Now, if we say data analyst, it doesn't mean you actually quit your profession to become a full-fledged data analyst. It just means you are applying data analytics techniques in whatever work you do. So if you have some domain experience in sales or marketing, for example, then when you understand data analysis, then you can apply that knowledge in marketing analysis, in sales analysis, so that you can then generate some insight from data for your reporting and for your analysis for the executives. So that's the right path for you if you are just starting off. But if you have somebody that already have some data analysis and business intelligence experience before, then you might want to move a step further to a data scientist role. You might want to move a step further to a data scientist role. And in that sense, what you then need to start learning is machine learning algorithms, advanced machine learning algorithms such as deep learning, and also learn how to apply all of these things in practical business environment. So that's all. If you have any other question, feel free to ask me, and then any of the other time that I'm coming in for live, I will answer any questions that people have been asking in this live session. So if you are looking to prepare yourself for a data analytics role, then I want you to check out our data science and data analyst training, track 1 and track 2, that is upcoming in January 30, and then registration closes on January 26, just 4 days before the training start. But we have early bird registration that is ongoing right now, and that early bird registration will end on January 11th, which is next Monday from today. So make sure that you take advantage of the early bird so that you can get some discount on your registration. So if you want to get into this area, then our job is to give you all the skills, all the tools, all the techniques and resources that you need to be able to function in this role. So our track 1 of the class is targeted at those who are looking for data analyst and business intelligence role. And then our track 2 is targeted at those who are looking to become data scientists. So if you go to glomaxinstitute.com right now, you will see detail of all the curriculum that we have for track 1 and curriculum that we have for track 2. Check out the details. You will see that it's actually something that will take you from end to end into the field of data analysis. So thank you for joining today. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. And next time that I come on, I will answer all the questions that I'm being asked. Thank you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.